Hello, this is Rogers Redding, National Coordinator of Football Officials, and I'd like to welcome you to another in our series of videos designed especially for the media and the fans. This is our last video for the 2017 season. It seems hard to believe that the season is almost over. It seems like it hardly just got started before it's time to wrap it up. I want to thank you for watching these videos, and I want to thank you for the feedback and comments we've gotten. Our goal, as always, is to provide a better understanding of the game from the standpoint of the NCAA football rules. As always, if you have any questions or comments about any of these plays, I'd be glad to hear from you. So, without any further ado, let's get right to the plays. Here we have a situation where a delay of game foul leads to a potential 10-second runoff. Notice all the conditions are here for the runoff. We're in the second quarter, we're inside a minute, and the game clock is running. The offensive team is charged with a foul for a delay of game. Because this is a foul that causes the clock to stop right away, it does qualify for the 10-second runoff. Now notice that the referee checks with the team committing the foul to see what they want to do. They have a timeout left, and so they could avoid the 10-second runoff by burning the timeout. With only 7 seconds on the game clock when the foul is committed, the 10-second runoff would mean that the half would be over. But they choose to burn their last timeout to keep that 7 seconds on the clock. So this is a nice example where a delay of game leads to a potential 10-second runoff, and in this case, the team committing the foul chooses to burn their timeout to avoid that 10-second runoff.
False start. Offense number 9, 5-yard penalty, second down. To avoid the 10-second subtraction, Stanford has elected to take a timeout. Their third and final of the game.
I wanted you to see this example of a horse collar tackle. Normally we think of a horse collar tackle as the defensive player grabbing the jersey or the collar of the shoulder pads from the back. And this is one where it happens from the side. And this is also, by rule, a horse collar tackle. You can see in this case that the defender grabs the jersey, inside of the jersey, at the shoulder and jerks the ball carrier to the ground. And so this is correctly ruled as a horse collar tackle. This play has to do with the forward progress spot that a receiver is allowed when he goes airborne to catch a ball and then is driven back by the defender. In this play, the receiver goes airborne as he angles back toward the ball and touches the ball, whereupon the defender contacts him, but the receiver doesn't actually gain control of the ball until he is driven back a further couple of yards. And he should get the spot to where he actually gains control of the ball, not to where he first possesses the ball. Now, in most cases, this is a subtle point that doesn't make a lot of difference, but in this case, it makes a couple of yards difference. So this is just something to keep in mind as you watch a player who goes airborne to receive a pass. Here we have a good example of defensive pass interference and what we call a hook and turn. You can see that the defender puts his right hand on the waist of the receiver and tries to turn him to prevent the receiver from catching the ball. Now that left hand is okay, nothing wrong there, but it's the right hand hook and turn that causes this to be defensive pass interference.
Pass interference, defense, the ball be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic.
This play is an example of a very tight situation at the goal line where the ball carrier is very near the sideline and fumbles the ball. Lots of things to think about here and lots of things that can happen. If the ball goes forward into the end zone and out of bounds, that's a touchback. If the ball goes forward into the end zone and the offense recovers it, that's a touchdown, unless it's fourth down, which is not on this case. If the ball goes in the end zone and is recovered and downed by the defensive team, that's a touchback. If the ball goes into the end zone and is recovered by the defensive team, they can continue the ball in play. If the fumble ball strikes the pylon, that's in the end zone out of bounds, and so that is a touchback. If the fumbled ball touches a player who is touching out of bounds, even though the ball itself doesn't go out of bounds, the ball is ruled out of bounds and it would belong to the team that fumbled the ball. You get several good looks at this and you can see that in fact the ruling of a fumble recovered by the defensive team is correct. This play of course goes to review as it would since it's so very close to the goal line and so very close to the out of bounds line. And of course, the result of the review is that the fumble recovery in advance of the ball is confirmed. But I just thought it would be useful to see the play because of the fact that it involves so many possibilities near the goal line at the sideline. This play gives us an example of a foul for assisting the ball carrier. Watch the action of the guard, right guard number 73. You can see that in this scrum near the goal line, he actually grabs the ball carrier around the waist and just pulls him into the end zone. Now this is a foul. It's okay to push. You can push the pile. You can push the ball carrier. It used to be that the rule did not allow pushing the ball carrier, but we're having so many plays that where it was simply the pile being pushed that the rules committee said, let's allow the push, but we still don't allow the pull. And so whenever an offensive player pulls a teammate like this into the end zone, that's a foul for assisting the ball carrier. There's a foul for offensive pass interference on this play, and this is the kind of offensive interference that we don't see very often. Normally we see the receiver pushing the defender away to try to create space so that he himself can catch the pass. In this case, however, the roles are reversed, and the offensive player now is trying to prevent the defender from intercepting the ball. You can see him tug him to the ground and pulling him away from the path to the ball. Both players have equal rights to the ball, and in this case, it's the offensive player that actually sort of turns into a defender as he is trying to prevent the opponent from intercepting the pass. So good call and good recognition of offensive pass interference.
Pass interference, offense, number 9. Penalties declined.
This play shows us a rather unusual kind of false start, what we call a snap infraction. You can see that the snapper starts the ball backward and hesitates and then completes pulling it back through between his legs. And this is a false start because the snap must be one continuous motion. This takes place while the ball is dead, and it remains dead. The ball does not become alive by this action. So this is correctly ruled a false start by virtue of a snap infraction.
In the fourth quarter.
The ball being snapped. Snap infraction. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, still for first down.
Well, that's it for this set of videos for the 2017 season, and I want to wish you the best of luck as the season progresses toward its end and into the postseason. I'd like to thank you again for your interest in these videos and for the comments and feedback we've gotten about them. And we'll look forward to a great postseason of playoffs and bowl games and national championship games in all the divisions. And finally, best wishes to you and your family for the winter ahead.